Hey, how everybody doing? Happy Saturday, happy weekend. This is Free, founder of the 40 Strong, and I'm coming to you with your 40 minutes with 40. So, I'm at Pocahontas. This happened on Thursday. The project came to me about 2:30, 3 o'clock. Mr. Henson, you have to pack up. It's time to go. So, I was kind of taken aback because they usually pack you up in the morning, so I was like, wow, where am I going? And Thursday was actually the day that morning when I looked around the pod and I seen complete unity. So when I went into D2 in January of 2025, about 14 months ago, it was a complete gang pod. It was all types of chaos and strife, a lot of issues and fights, different things going on. And it took time. It took a lot of groups, it took a lot of mentorship, it took a lot of fellowship, a lot of conversations, understanding. And Thursday, I had the wildest feeling. Like I was in the pod and I looked around. I seen girls with Crips. I seen older dudes with younger guys. Everybody was on the phone. Of course, at River North, we started coming all together, top tier and bottom tier. I guess people thought that it wouldn't work, but it worked. And I just looked around Thursday morning, and I could just remember feeling so much peace and pride, even though I keep my pride to myself. I don't really boast or say what we did as a group and how we did it. But it felt so good to just see that peace. And I felt so good that we could come together as a pod and as a building, D building. And these things have now trickled over into C building and D building and things like that. So when I left, it was just outpouring, like all of my nephews, everybody was like, Free, where you going, man? I don't want you to go. Let's go talk to the unit manager. So it was just big uproar, because it just happened all of a sudden. And I told everybody calm down. I was like, look, this is what it is. Y'all have the tools, y'all have the leadership to keep this going. Keep man time going, keep the respect going, keep the love and the unity going. So I packed up, everybody was cool, I got everybody information, and we all talked. And I ended up leaving a few hours later. And I didn't know where I was going, but I know God got me. My mother always told me that. So they came and got me around 7 o'clock. It was an officer. He was very pleasant. Like, Henson, you got to go. Come on. They waiting on you. So while he was walking me up there, when I'm leaving the pod, everybody banging on the doors. I was so bad. I don't like the attention. So I always like to keep the attention on everybody else because I'm not good with it. So tears were in my eyes as I walked. They couldn't see, because my back was to the door I was leaving out, and I was just saying bye to everybody, all my nephews, Tuco, Rockstar, TY, Sandman, like everybody. I'm saying bye to everybody. And as I walked out, the officer was seeing the tears in my eyes. He was like, man, you really did a lot for the pod. You really did a lot for this building and this compound, and I really respect everything you did. And I had never talked to this man. This is a Spanish officer. We never talked. He usually just bring my mail. I say thank you and everything. So we never had a conversation. So it really threw me off. And I was like, thank you. I appreciated that. To be validated, for work that you never looked to be validated for. And they took me up front with two guys waiting on me. And they were like, you ready to go? And they had smiles on their face. And I was just like, wow, what's going on? So he was like, well, where we going? You going up or down? I was like, well, I ain't had no child. I ain't did nothing. All these years, I ain't hurt nobody. I hope I'm going somewhere. Down or, that's not bad, equal or whatever. So eventually it was like, well, you're going to Pocahontas and, I think they just wanted to move you. You've done, so much here and, they're moving you there. I don't know. It might have been for me complaining about rights and stuff. I don't know. You never know with DOC. But I know I didn't hurt anybody. Anything I did was the truth. Anybody I helped was from the heart. So I left in peace and it was a good ride, to see just cars and humanity and different things like that. So I enjoyed the ride. I got here And the strangest thing happened, so when I got here, I seen Lieutenant Murphy, you know, that's who brought me in, and he was going to get my clothes and stuff. So I was like, where I'm going at? You know, and he was like, I think you're going to C1. So I don't know nothing about Pocahontas. I just got here. So I'm like, C1. So God had it to where there was a guy in there from C1. And he was sitting on the bench, and I was like, where you from? He said, C1. He said, oh, you going over there? He said, man, that's the churches, man, all gang members. I said, man, I can't get a break. I've been doing this job for at least 10, 12 years, not away Longville, Queensville. I'm always in the worst part, fixing it, stopping stuff, and I was just like, I can't do it. And in that moment, I made in my mind that I couldn't do it. Like I had just went through the whole thing with the officer dying, being on lock for 3.5 months, and I just wanted to just exist. So I told Lieutenant Murphy, man, bless his heart, I said, look, I done just spent 10, 15 years, I've been an advocate in prison for 20 years. I have mentored gang members, young guys, my whole time. I'm the founder of the 40 Strong. I can't go in that part right now. I said, I just want to go somewhere where I can exist, where I could just wake up and not worrying about stopping a fight or stopping this. He said, well, we already knew that that's something you could do, and, you know, I guess they want you to go to C1 to try to help. And no, I said, sir, I can't do it right now. I said, if I got to go to suicide watch, if I got to go sit somewhere in the hole, I just can't do it. I said, we just coming off the lock at River North. I said, can you please, where I could just wake up, eat me some oatmeal, and chill. So Lieutenant Murphy, he said, hold up, let me go see what I can do. I'll be back. So the whole time I'm praying. You know, I ain't gonna lie to you, I'm in there praying like, God, please, man, let me just go somewhere where I can just chill. And I'm not ruling that out. I'm not saying that while I'm here, I won't mentor, I won't try to, you know, help out different guys and stuff like that. It's not right now. I can't just get off of the bus from River North with everything that just transpired, seeing the progress there, and just jump right back into that predicament. So when I was sitting there, the guys telling me like, yeah, man, C1 is fights and this going on and that going on. And I'm just praying. I'm like, oh, my God, please, I don't want to get no charge. You know, I haven't had a charge. I'm trying to go back to the Lord to get closer to my family. And I'm praying. And Lieutenant Murphy came back. He was like, listen, he said, do you need a top bunk on the bottom? But I said, man, if this is a good part, I'll sleep on the floor. So he started laughing. I was serious. Like, wherever I had to go, if I had to get on top, to get down on the floor, sleep on there, make me a pallet, it didn't even matter at that time. So he was like, all right, I'll be right back. So I'm still praying. So I'm like, man, I'm praying like Mama told me, like Psalm 91, please protect me, Lord. Please give me strength. Please don't put nobody around me to hurt me or harm me. And all these things are going through my head. I'm praying, and the guy sitting there looking at me like I'm crazy, but I don't care. Because it was, in this moment, I just needed peace. So Lieutenant Murphy came back. He was like, Henson, we got you. We got you a spot in C2. No, I'm sorry, in A2. It's a kitchen pod. So I already know the kitchen pod is the most chill pod you can ever be in if it's not an honor pod. I've been in both. So I was like, look, you take me over there, you're not going to hear nothing from me. I'm good. He said, I got you, Henson. We're going to get you over there. So he, about 20 minutes later, he came back, gave me my clothes. He said, you going in, yep, A2, we got your cell, everything good. So we walked over here. As soon as I come in the pod, I see Nadir, I see Stretch, I see C, I see like 540 strong members. They on the door, free, what's up, man? They hitting the door, what you need? Man, free here, free. So I felt so good coming into this pod because the energy was there. You know, Nadir is my brother. Nadir Salam, as no one know about him. Freedom Over Everything with Krista, Hassan Shabar. He's the founder of that. Freedom Over Everything was based in Buckingham. They've done many great events, different things going on there with mentorship. They have a great organization. Actually, one of our first few events was with Freedom Over Everything. Timberways Park in 2021. Also with Jennifer Dalton with Virginia Justice Alliance. Nairobi Top Dog to Gain in Years. Like, those were our first events with 40 Strong. So me and this man got history. We've been in the field again. This is my brother. So when I come in, I feel so good. It's late. I go in, lay down. In the morning, they all come to the door. They got food for me, toothpaste, all of these things. I felt so good. I just began thanking God. Like, I needed that. Like, I needed to be built back up. And a lot of times as a leader, people think that we don't get weak, that we don't get vulnerable, that we don't have times when we need to be built up. But this was one of those times, like, it was so much work that took place to get D2, D building, and to really reach out to members of River North to say, man, let's have peace. Let's make this thing right. Let's make River North better. Like, it took so much work. And at that time, I was just tired. So they began to just love on me. Me and my dad have been at the table 2-3 days now since Thursday. Me and Stretch, he's one of my biggest advisors. Like, he's a 40-strong member who always gave me inspiration. Like, if I was trying to do voting, sign up to vote, he would say, well, why are you not doing it all over the state? If I was trying to do something for Ernst credit, he would say, well, why you ain't think about this? So he has always challenged me to be better. Philip James, Stretch, it's my man from Richmond. So to see him and to pick his brain and to thank him for all the emails that he sent that was copy and pasted to me that gave me inspiration was beautiful. To see C and all the different shots, like, it was just beautiful. So I've been in the kitchen pod now for about, since Thursday. I'm enjoying it. There's a peace here. The guys go to work. We do have, some gang members in here because it's hard to get around that. They're young. I've already began talking to them and giving them some, just some mentorship. And, when you see your homies on the yard, tell them this. Let's get Pocahontas right. So one thing I don't understand is Pocahontas is still top tier, bottom tier. And I'm like, River North, everybody come out together top and bottom. Red Onion is doing it. King Mountain is doing it. So how was Pocahontas, a 3-4 or a level 4, whatever, still on top tier, bottom tier? And no one here has had any type of stabbing, very peaceful here. You do have your game cards like C1, I think, and C3 or something like that. But other than that, I'm like, well, wow, they're not coming out together. So that's something we'll work on another day. I'm definitely going to address that with the administration and also with Director Walters. But I am just so thankful, and I'm giving everybody here on the 40 Minutes with 40, just some inspiration today. Like, sometimes things don't go the way you think they're supposed to go, and you can question, like, well, why am I being moved? And I'm worrying. Because my mom was supposed to come. This was my visit with my mom this week, where someone was going to bring her, and we were going to sit there and just have that moment with her. This weekend is supposed to be today. I was supposed to be in River North today from 10 to 2, sitting with my mother, just breaking bread and fellowshipping with her. And she was disappointed when I called her, Thursday, before I left. But I told her, like, Mom, God is working, and I'm going to get to see you. Like, I'll see you in April. I know my birthday is next week, but I told her, like, Mom, I'll get to see you. But I talked to her today. She was good. She went out, got her groceries. She's sitting in the house, chilling, putting her feet up. She got all her stuff done today. So I just want everyone to know that a lot of times things may not seem like they're working, and it may be something that happens different than what you're used to, and you may not think you're ready to leave. I didn't want to leave until July because of all the stuff that we were doing with the mentorships and the maritime program. I had begun working with the new administration at River North, and I didn't think that I don't get to choose. I don't get to choose what happens. I don't get to choose where I go because I am in the Virginia Department of Corrections. When I'm a free man, I can choose that. But right now, wherever I go, I do have the choice of how I respond to it. I have the choice of remaining positive. I have the choice of continuing to do the work. But at this specific moment, I needed peace. I didn't have it in me to go into another environment to fix and mold and shape and, go back and forth and figure out. I just didn't. So I'm thankful to God that Lieutenant Murphy, bless his heart again, that he found it in his heart to send me to the kitchen pod and begin doing the work. I will be highlighting Philip Daniels, listen up, because I'm about to get 40 minutes with 40 going, y'all. I'm telling you, this guy here, Philip Daniels Stretch, a.k.a. Stretch, Richmond, Virginia, this man's brain is amazing. He is one of the members. If I can count all of the members who have advised me, I would have to say is probably one of the top 2 or 3. And I sat down with him, and man, the work he's been doing, the positivity that's in his eyes, I was just so overwhelmed. Me and Nabil are already working on another event, maybe this summer, August, September, something that he came up with, me and him putting it together. So I'm excited about that. So stay tuned. You know, the journey continues from River North to Pocahontas, from Greenville, Lawrenceville. There's more work to do. And that's what Mom said. Mom said they need to know this. You know, they need unity there. So I'm bringing unity. You know, we want to see what we can do. We want to try to get some mentorship to the young guys. And I'm just thankful. You know, I don't question, you know, the journey, you know, because all steps of the journey are important for the testimony. So I want to encourage somebody today that if you're going through, if something's not going your way, if something came up unexpectedly, you got a bill late, that car not running right, keep your head up. Stay in the fight. Stay encouraged. Things can change in the blink of an eye. And sometimes when things make a little right turn or a little left turn that you wasn't expecting, just hold on to that steering wheel a little bit tighter. And you never know where you may end up at.
You have 1 minute remaining.
I'm in the kitchen pod and I'm at peace. So I'll get back to work soon, but right now, I'm loving it. I thank y'all. God bless you. God bless your family. And please stay tuned. We got more 40 Minutes with 40 coming up. We got some things coming up about the General Assembly for 2027. We got a whole lot we got to do. Thank you so much for hearing me. This is free. Under the 40 strong. God bless you. Have a wonderful weekend. Thank you.